Moving on to the Central Division, we'll go with the number 1 and number 4 team next. Nashville, Carolina. Who have you got and why?
Alrighty. So this is really interesting because you've got a team that just on paper seems so superior in all facets of the game. And the Hurricanes have now been a wagon for 3, 4 seasons consecutively. And just, at some point they're going to get over that hump because there's just so much talent and so much depth, and they come after you wave after wave. But then on the other side, uh, goaltending, right? It's so fickle in the playoffs. And UC Saros has been hot as heck. He's been hot as the sun, like just unbelievable run he's been on. And I'm going to go against my general rules come playoff time, but I'm going to pick the Carolina Hurricanes because I think their team just overall is too overwhelming for the talent of the Nashville Predators, that even like Saros, I think might steal 1 or 2 games with just some absolutely incredible performances, but he hasn't really proven much in the playoffs. And I think this Carolina Hurricanes team, like they are ready to stampede their way to a Final Four appearance.
Yeah, I'm in complete agreement with everything you said. This was the hardest series for me to pick of the ones we're doing today because I feel like Carolina's gonna win, but maybe I just don't quite appreciate this roster or something. Because when I look at it and I think about the Nashville team that like had their run against Pittsburgh, and I think about the chances of a goalie to steal a playoff, and I get really 50-50 on this, and I'm on the fence, but also ultimately just find myself wanting to lean towards the better, more proven team that has had some playoff success in past years, though not gone all the way to the finals yet. Also, I just have a soft spot for Dougie Hamilton and Tyler Seguin, who should have been Leafs, and so will almost always cheer for the teams they're on. So I'm also picking the Hurricanes, though of all the 1 versus 4 matchups, this yeah, even Leafs Canadians, I'll say this is the one I feel an upset is most likely.
Oh, interesting. Okay. Well, I obviously feel differently with my Islanders pick. But we will move on to the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Florida Panthers. The first ever matchup in the playoffs between these two teams. And if the final couple regular season games are any indication, these teams do not like each other, and the series is going to be a whole heck of fun. So, Max, who you got?
Yeah, for sure. I wasn't sure if you were going to mention that the Panthers had won those last couple games because I was ready to stick in the caveat that the Lightning were arguably missing their 3 best players in those games, not counting the goaltender. And for the fact that they haven't had Kucherov all season, we'll be getting him back. We're missing Stamkos, who is having a pretty solid season for how he's been the last couple of years. I'm going with them for Victor Hedman, your Norris Trophy winner, and I didn't think the stats were there, but I think he is absolutely one of the best defensemen in the world. And for Andre freaking Vasilevsky, both of our Vesna candidates, I'm going with the Tampa Bay Lightning. And if all of that doesn't convince you, then how about the fact that they won a Stanley Cup last year and I think have just been biding their time this last month and are with the roster back loaded and healthy are absolutely ready to kick it into overdrive against a Panthers team that's not going to know what hit them once it does.
Yeah, there's not much for me to add there. I do have to shout out Barkov, right? He is my guy as like the most underrated player, and this Florida team has just been incredible this season. And there is a very real possibility that Sergei Bobrovsky could turn back the clock and just stop every single shot in this series, and it's a 4-0 sweep. But I think more than likely, this Tampa Bay Lightning team, after getting swept by Columbus, is in a full, like, just dominate each matchup mode. And I just don't see a facet of the game where Florida is the better team. And Florida can play tough, and they might be able to get under the skin of this Lightning team, but Tampa Bay's been through it now. They've been through it so many times together, and this unit is just the continuity is there, the skill is there. Kucherov is going to be an unbelievable boost to this team. And then you sit back on goaltending, right? I say Bobrovsky maybe has a shot to swing this series, but generally he hasn't been great. And you could see even Drieger getting into this series as the number one. And I just think with those question marks, Vasilevsky is going to be rock solid. And so, yeah, we're both in agreement on both of these series, Tampa Bay Lightning and the Carolina Hurricanes.
And then I also will pick the Tampa Bay Lightning to beat the Carolina Hurricanes in the second round, as they did last year in the playoffs, I believe.
Not sure there. But I'm actually going to go with Carolina.
Wow.
And again, going against the instincts to pick the dominant goalie, I think just Carolina, this is the year for them to break through and make another conference final appearance, really stake their claim as one of the top 4 teams in the NHL, because they've been waiting for a while. And I think just teams that it's so incredibly difficult to go back to back, and Tampa Bay, Kucherov might be back, Stamkos might be back, guys might, but they might sustain some bumps and bruises that just Carolina is absolutely poised to take command of this division. And yeah, I was on Tampa Bay for a lot of this season, but I think there are just a couple more dominant teams coming out of the West. And so in order to back up that prediction, I have to go with Carolina here.
I do feel like Tampa Bay is the most probable team to give those Western teams trouble. And if it's not Tampa Bay making the finals in the East, or maybe the Maple Leafs, depending on how they look throughout the playoffs, I can't really pick any of these other teams to give Vegas or Colorado much trouble in the finals.
So there you have it. For Max, the Pittsburgh Penguins are coming out of the East, and for myself, the Boston Bruins. And then I have the Carolina Hurricanes to Max's Tampa Bay Lightning. Those are our official playoff picks for now, and we will do the North and the West on Sunday. We'll take a quick break and come back for some Combat Corner.